He finally came. The Marshal is in the house. This has been a long-standing thing. I ordered this PowerCon last year through Ramen Toy's website, designed by Art of Ken Coleman. This has been met with some back and forth, so we're gonna go over it fully. This is gonna be a little more in depth of a review than I typically do. There's Ramen Toy. There's that. It says Ramen Toy all over this thing. The Marshal. I like it so far. So once you open it up, you of course have the loaded out, which I do appreciate, version. And then this, which is spoilers, already open. There's no tape to let you know that this hasn't been opened before, which is a little bit weird, but I guess it's a Ramen Toy, so who gives a hoot? It's not like this is going on a store shelf. I feel like this is probably the only way you're ever going to get this character. I'm sure there's some rights issue. It's a basic clamshell. It's harder than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going to be real cheap. It's not. And then you do have a nice little backdrop right here with the 3 moons. Yet again by Ken Coleman. So at least they are paying people for art and not using AI, which is surprising. Just surprising because it's not like Hasbro, which does do that. So there you go. Let's leave this open. Let's take a look at the figure. We're going to put him on that little guy right there. So I'm going to put him in his kind of decked out mode first, and then we'll strip him down and see what we can do. So, one thing. He does not come with a case, and he desperately needs one. So, there you go. So I'll put that out there first. Desperately needs a case. It does come with some extra stuff here that we'll put on. Now, if you pre-ordered this through Ramen's website, you got the rifle and then some of the crystals, which were used in the show. It's been 30 years since I watched that show, so I'm unfamiliar with the names of all these things. But that's what the whole storyline, I believe, revolved around. So you do have him with his kind of like mech armor options here. He does come with a hip-mounted blaster. That happens a lot. So let's pop this in here. Now this is one of those things where if you want it to be permanent, or do you want to have options? You get one or the other. So if you want this to be permanent, go grab some super glue and stick it on there. I do not want it to be permanent, so it'll stay like that. The gun, let's do the gun first, since the crystal is pretty much just a crystal. This is feels like a resin, probably. It is actual plastic, but it's not like rubbery like the Hasbro stuff. That does have a little elastic thing here, so you can strap it around his back. I appreciate that. Next, so you can take the holster off, and then he does hold his weapon like so. So you can have him doing all the normal cowboy stuff. He does come with his little talisman here with the bear, hawk, wolf, and puma, I believe it is. And this shawl, I don't know what these things are called, poncho, does come off, but you do have to take the head off. It is a rubbery plastic, pretty decent durometer there. And then while we have that off, we'll pop this head on. He does have multiple heads. This is a little wonky, so we'll put that out there. A little bit wonky. Nothing terrible. Does have drop-down hips. It's pretty much just a G.I. Joe classified. That's why I'm putting this on my classified section. And then we do have a regular hat. This hat fits a lot better. It still falls off, but you can actually get it on there and clip it in, and it will stay like so. And then he does also have the armored up version as well with what is that, microphone and the antenna. Both of these are okay. Pop that head off, and then this is just like He-Man armor. You pop this, take this armor off. You can just display him as so. Just like this. I kind of like this. He does come with 2 armor options, which is appreciated. This part also was like completely separated there, but I just kind of slid it down. Didn't even have to heat it up, and it's pretty much stayed there, so that is good. I had initially wanted to put this with my He-Man stuff, but I feel like he fits with G.I. Joe a little better. I plan on making one of these when they finally did release a, what do you call them? Wild Bill, is that the one? But I think this will fit with my classified a little better than the other ones will. You can see the side-by-side here. The faces, so he's got a little smirk on this one and this. Some people are complaining that he looked like, I don't know who, but I like this face. It is not a cartoon face. It's like a realistic Native American, or Indian, or whatever they're calling themselves these days. So we have this ponytail is actually articulated, and it's articulated in multiple areas, so you can move it around and have it do things. It is like that on both heads. The plastic, so I don't have plastic feels pretty much similar to this, so it doesn't feel cheap or anything. This is a character, what do you call it? They're heavy duty. I made from a Roadblock. I don't know what I'm going to do with that now because they're actually bringing us a heavy duty. So, let's put his blue armor on. And as I said, you do have to take the head off every time, which that can get a little tedious and scary with that thing there. You just pull it over and snap it down. They had shown a 30-30 back at PowerCon, but I have not seen anything of that. They might be just waiting to see how this sells through. So I will say, if you're planning on picking this up, pick it up now to ensure that, because we minimally need those two. I would like a Tex Hex as well, but I can deal with just these two. There you go. Now, he was kind of expensive. As I said, I bought this last year, so it just sat. It's weird. You have to... There. Anyway, we'll go over full articulation in a second, because right now we got to do this. So there he is in all his glory. So let's take this talisman, put that in here. Don't need this hat right now. Just kind of putting everything away so I know what I've gone over and what I haven't. We could go over this, which is allows you to do that. I like that. That's slick. And this is only available through Ramen's website, so if you happen to buy this off some other thing, supposedly it's not going to be in there. And you do have a tomahawk here, which has a little spot. Clicks on. And you can also put this on his thigh. It works. It is not perfect. So, be forewarned on that. And this is where people were having issues, is that this hat does not like to stay on. I feel like it stays on the other head better than this one. Like, each hat is made for each head, I guess, is kind of how I put it. This one seems to have a lot less issues with it falling off, but still. If you are having extreme issues, you can find some of those clear rubber bands and put them on the head, and it'll fit perfectly. I'm not going to have too much problem because this is just going to sit on a shelf. Now, got this thinking this was a stand, but it's kind of bent. This actually goes right here as a shield for Brave Star. I'm sorry, the Marshall. It's Brave Star. So it does come with a pair of gun holding hands, a pair of tomahawk holding hands. You can have him hold stuff. Comes with fists on, so you can have him punching. That Puma strength, and then you do have a couple of different grasping hands here. So they're just mirrored versions of each other, but they are all painted and detailed. That is where the money goes on this one. And then, of course, you have his regular head. Let's pop off all the accessories, including the hat. We'll go over articulation. I will be making a stand for this that features all of the animals. If you're so inclined, check it out. The link will be in the bio, you know, that jazz. So let's actually take this off so that we get a full, crisp, clear. This is him without anything on articulation. So I've already gone over this. This is a full 360 twist. But you do have a double ball joint there, double ball joint neck, much like newer Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe Classified. And then we do have a ball. Not even a ball, was that? Yeah, it's a ball joint swivel kind of thing. I don't know. But it goes full 360. This does not get in the way. This is harder than you'd expect it to be. It does get in the way here, but you can just bend it out of the way for the bicep. We have double pinless. I appreciate that. And then to pop these off, this is weird, so you can accidentally pop this piece off. They're different sizes, so you should know which ones to put back in. This is a little wonky. It's a double ball joint. You can kind of see it in there. Barbell. And then this is also the same, so you got a lot of motion there. And the swivel. It'd just be nice if this was a little tighter. That's it. That's the only problem I see, is that this is a little bit loose on that. You can twist this off, as I showed earlier, but it's supposed to be down. It's got a little ledge. They probably could have glued this piece, and it wouldn't have been a problem. All right, at the waist, we do have the twists from that. A drop-down hip, which that is surprising. We got a thigh swivel. This part is actually separate from this. I don't think you're supposed to be able to take it off. You can if you heated it up. I actually had to move mine, so what you'll see is there's a little line right there and there, but all I had to do is push this armor down and then twist it on there. It was a little difficult, but I got it. And then his knee is attached to this, just floating around. So everything's kind of floaty, but it stays well enough. And then at his legs, we've got the same half ball twist at the ankle, and then a thing here. So realistically, if you were to take Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, and even some McFarlane, it has all of that. The only thing that's missing is cloth goods, in my opinion, instead of that poncho that he's got, and he needs a stand badly. So I'm going to be making that stand sooner than later, so keep an eye out. It's like getting him to stand is a pain in the butt, and he's like a character that you do want to be able to pose around. Case in point, yeah. I hate this phone sometimes. There he goes. It's a good figure. It has its pros and cons, but I will say I prefer this over the other one that came out, which was like a skeletal body with just a bunch of clothes on. This one is much closer to a classified figure in scale. So he's not as short as, let's say, of course, the only one I have. Here. We'll use my Masters Universe sized Hulk Hogan that I'm going to be selling. And then Marvel Legends wise, where did she go? There she is, a little bit on a stand though. But this is the Black Widow that just came out. So let's put them next to each other. She's a little bit taller, but she is shorter as well. Definitely worth the money to get him if you are at all interested in this figure, just so that we get the 30-30 and other ones. Tex-Hex I probably think is probably going to be next anyway. Who knows? I didn't go over this. So the thigh cut there. So this does hinder movement, but not terribly. I feel like all this armor should have been a little easier to remove, and then we would be able to do that. But there's no instructions on these, so it's kind of get what you get and hope that you don't have issues. I prefer the white armor for him. So let's pack this guy up. Pack him up. There's that. And that does kind of solidify some stuff too when you do that. Like, it's not perfect, but yeah. Yeah, the stand is a real necessity for him. Oh, I have to do that afterwards. This piece, as I said, would have been cool to have that not. You know, I want his smirking face. Yeah, kind of. Oh no, that was a smirking face. So I want this one. Nice. Put that up there. Get his tomahawk out here. We're just loading this dude up. Plastic quality is pretty good. I'd heard some people were complaining about it. It's better than any KO I've seen. It's a higher quality than I think Ramen's other things that they've offered. So that is to be taken noted. I don't know if anything past the first run of these is going to get that quality. But the first run's pretty good, so grab it while you can. Now I'm starting to have issues with this. I'll have to do a video on how to fix things like this real easy. Just using, it's the clear rubber bands that come with most action figures. I just use that. That's it. And it usually does the trick. I'm not putting his talisman on because mine needs heated up. We'll just call this Brave Star Super Mode and deal with it there. Yeah, that hat is not staying on. And that's probably been the #1 problem most people have had, is that hat does not want to stay on. And then he falls over. Stand's coming. You hurt my hair. Stand is coming. Gonna do some 3D printed stands, I think. Why they couldn't have just included a small little thing like this. I mean, even if it just said Ramen Toy on it, would have been cool. Ramen Toy stand. Let's see if this other hat fits better. Yeah, I feel like each hat fits a head better than the other. See, just a little stand here just does the... Oh, that was me knocking that off. There. And there we go. That is the Ramen Toy Marshall figure. Currently, I think you could still get it on their website, if not through other retailers. I'm sure a lot of these other companies are gonna get it. You do only get this and the gun through Ramen Toy, though. And that's it. That is our Brave Star. Probably actually keeping the box for this one, because I feel like that might be a collector's item later. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment, and then also let me know what you think of this, if you're going to be picking this guy up, because I would actually like to know, especially if this changed your mind one way or the other. As I said, it's a little different when it comes to these third-party unlicensed things, so you got to take it with a grain of salt when you do run into a problem. Because they're not Hasbro. When it's Hasbro and Mattel, that's when you should be really, really picky. This is infinitely better than most of the other third parties that I've picked up that aren't Transformers. Third-party Transformers, for some reason, can figure it out. This guy's good. I'm Alpha Magnus. These are toys.